One Pick Wonders on Twitter. This is how you win betting on NFL. We may do other sports as well. As far as NFL goes, I'm busy. We are 4-2 on the season, which is a 67% coming off a win last week. Dan.
I'm sorry?
Who did we win with last week?
Pittsburgh. Really at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was a +5, I think, on the road at Kansas City, and Pittsburgh won.
Yeah, they were like a +3.5.
Okay, but they beat Kansas City outright because I think the Roethlisberger 7-1 or 8-1 versus Kansas City in his career.
Well, and then Kansas shit the bed on Thursday too, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, they really they didn't play very well at the end of the game. They kept holding everybody, and the officials kept calling penalties over and over again. They had Oakland had 2 untimed downs to finish the game, and they eventually scored the winning touchdown. It was very sloppy. That's what you get in those Thursday games, though. I think you get a lot of sloppy games because it's too early. It's difficult to play 2 games that close together.
Well, I went and I was like, where the hell did all my fantasy points go? Because I'm playing your team this week. And I was like, what the hell happened to my defense?
Well, you're lucky I didn't play Amari Cooper. I forgot to put him in my lineup.
What, for Oakland?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He had 53 points.
53?
Uh-huh. He had 200 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Good job, Coach. Good job on that.
Right.
Oh, man. And then Ezekiel Elliott's going to shit the bed this week, too.
Yeah, well, who knows? He's playing the 49ers. They're not very good, so.
Yeah. 53 points?
Yeah, 53. And I had him on my bench.
What's the most that a player has scored in a single game this season so far? That's got to be right up there.
I think Deshaun Watson probably had a huge game because he had over 300 yards and 5 touchdown passes in a game. So, God, what is that? 35 times. That's at least 55 points, probably more. 60 points.
Wow. So now I don't feel so bad with the Kansas City Chiefs defense now, only getting 3 points with you putting 50-some points on the bench.
Yeah. I think I lost that one.
What's your excuse, though? You forgot to start him? Is that your excuse?
No, he's been awful. He had about between week 2 and 5, he had about 40 yards total receiving.
Oh my God.
He's been terrible until that game. That game, he had the game of his life. Otherwise, he'd been awful the whole season until then.
The only guy I'm torn on is whether to start Garcon over this L.A. Chargers receiver because the guy's questionable. Forget the guy that Brian tried to trade me for. I forget the hell his name is. I'll tell you his name. Hang on, it was. No, he's been doing pretty well.
Who, Keenan Allen?
But Brian actually. Yeah, Brian tried to trade me for him, but then they're saying questionable on him right now. Keenan Allen, yeah. They're showing him. Well, actually, no, they're not showing him. Yeah, they're still showing him as questionable. So then I put Garcon in.
The Chargers are at home against Denver. So Garcon might be the better play anyway against Dallas.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of thinking anyway. After he took a shit on Thursday as well. He didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, you had 2 guys going on Thursday, I think.
Well, no, the Chiefs defense and Crabtree.
Yeah, so you got 11 points from two guys. This I got 9 points from my tight end.
From one guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's have the pick for week 7 NFL, Danny. Let's have it.
Apparently, we're going with Jacksonville this week in London, or not London, Indianapolis against the Colts.
Oh, you scared me when you said London. I'm like, back up. Change the pick.
Yeah, right. The Colts are not very good. They got blown out last Monday by Tennessee. Jacksonville lost at home to the Rams last week. And Leonard Fournette did something to his knee at the end of the game, so I don't know what his status is. But Jacksonville just tends to play better on the road than they do at home. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. I guess because the crowd there just sucks and nobody cares in Jacksonville. But when they go on the road, they play much better. So it's a solid pick.
What's the matchup on quarterbacks? Well, anyway, let me back up the game right now. So we're taking Jacksonville and laying 3.
Yes.
Laying 3 points. Yeah, so we have to win by more than 3. And what's your take? It looks like Bortles and Brissett are pretty evenly matched here.
Yeah, Bortles should be better. I mean, he is in his 3rd or 4th year in the league. He has a lot more starts under his belt than Brissett. But he just, for some reason, the end of last season, he kind of regressed. And he's been okay so far this season.
Where's Bortles out of? Where's he coming out of, Bortles?
What do you mean? When he came up from college?
Yeah.
He went to the University of Central Florida in Orlando.
And how about Brissett? Where's he out of?
I have no idea.
Well, I no chance Luck comes back and makes a surprise appearance tomorrow, right?
He might be done for the season.
They said he practiced a little and then they shot him up with cortisone or something.
Yeah, he has a shoulder problem. They might just say forget it and stick a fork in him for the season. They're not sure at this point.
NC State. Brissett.
Well, I guess I missed out watching those NC State games.
Yeah.
These are two of Brian's favorite quarterbacks. That's weird.
Can you hear me?
What happened to the sound? Yeah, your sound went for a minute.
Why does Brian like these two jokers?
Because he calls Blake Bortles Bobby Bortles, and he calls Jacoby Brissett Jacoby Brisket.
Nice. But, Frank Gore has been a disappointment this whole season.
He's old.
Fournette. Well, yeah, but so is Adrian Peterson.
He's older.
He's older than Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, by 2 or 3 years.
But, he's a veteran like Adrian Peterson. So do you think this T.Y. Hilton is going to be a problem?
He's a good player. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's no Andrew Luck when it comes to getting the ball down the field. And the other thing about Peterson is he missed a whole season a couple years ago with that leg injury. Then he got suspended for a while. So, he's a little more or less wear there than Frank Gore. Not quite the same thing. Hilton's the best player probably in the Colts offense, but the offensive line isn't good. They can't run the ball. Their quarterback is fair at best. This is Jacksonville's defense has been really good this season, and they should be able to take advantage of the situation.
We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't pass the ball. We didn't have any offense. And you want to talk about playoffs?
I believe he said we didn't do diddly poo in his statement.
Diddly poo on offense. They were who we thought they were. We let him off the hook.
Different guy.
I know, but this guy, this Gore, I kind of pegged him as a feature back, but really they're giving it to this Mac quite a bit.
Well, it's tough. Most teams in the league use multiple guys. It's tough to find a featured guy anymore.
Well, I think this Fournette that would be in our favor, for this game.
Yes. He is, but as I said, at the end of last week, he did something to his knee. He slipped funny. I don't know what his status is.
So here's my only concern is in the passing yards arena. That's the weakness. We're laying 3, and it's in the passing yardage where Indy is shoulders above Jacksonville. That's my major concern is passing yardage.
I mean, it doesn't. I think that's yards can be looked at in different ways. It's not necessarily a hard number of what it indicates success or failure, because Jacksonville has really become a running team. They run the ball a lot. Fournette has had almost 200 yards in a couple different games rushing, so not relying as much on the passing game. The other thing too is it also might mean their defense is turning the ball over, and they're not having to go as far as, say, a team that doesn't and has to go the length of the field all the time. So numbers can be deceiving.
Yeah, because overall, in terms of points generation, yards gained, in red zone, I mean, Jacksonville's looking good in all those categories.
Yeah, red zone's the big one.
They're showing a little weakness on kicking against who's kicking for the Colts. I don't know who their kicker is.
The Colts just stink
nowadays. Who's coaching them?
Chuck Pagano. He's been there for like 5 years now.
And how about Jacksonville?
What the hell is that guy's name? Doug Marrone.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to coach the Bills, then he quit.
So we have the matchup of in the AFC South. So second and fourth place, Jacksonville being in second, Indy in fourth in the AFC South. But one win swing one way or the other could affect that division, I would think. I mean, you're only a game apart here,
Yeah, but really, that division between Tennessee and Houston, the other two teams really don't matter.
So are you throwing out a prediction for the championship series tonight? Houston at home against Yankees?
I think the Yankees are going to pull it out.
Oh. Why? Why say you? Oh my God!
Because, Sabathia now I think is 10-0 this year when he pitches after a Yankee loss, and he's pitching tonight.
Yeah, I mean Sabathia's good. I agree with that. I agree. Sabathia's good.
He has more experience in this situation. The Yankees can go to a bullpen earlier, which I think is a big advantage. Plus, there's 2 days off now between this game and the World Series. So even if you go use your whole bullpen tonight, everyone should be available for the first game of the World Series on Tuesday. Houston doesn't have that advantage. Their bullpen's kind of weak. So I think that's really important. If the Yankees get up early, and even if the pitcher's struggling a little bit, they could take Sabathia out in the third inning if they wanted to and just go to the bullpen and go bullpen the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, you still got to hit the ball. They got Aaron Judge.
Yeah, no, I understand. But I'm saying if they get a lead early enough and Sabathia gives them 4 solid innings, I don't think Girard's going to be afraid to go to the bullpen and bring all those guys in and end the game as early as he can.
But you have to look at there's a reason that the Yankees were the wild card team here. The stretch of the season. Houston was the better team.
Well, I mean, I think Houston played in a weaker division, and they were able to get more wins. Plus, they played the NL East in Interleague, and the NL East was a horrible, horrible division, which helped them. Whereas the Yankees, I think, had a tougher schedule overall during the course of the season. So it's difficult to measure a team necessarily on the actual win total instead of looking at maybe strength of schedule. But the Yankees remade their bullpen in the middle of the season, and Houston didn't. And I think that's going to make a big difference in this game. If it's a close game and the Yankees are ahead, they could bring in these guys. Like they could bring in Robertson for 2 innings, Canley for 2 innings, and what's his name, Chapman for 2 innings if they need to, and win the game.
If the Yankees are so good, why didn't they beat Boston for the division championship?
Because it took time for them to get together. But Boston's out of the playoffs. I mean, that's what really counts. The Yankees are still
I know
there.
they are, but I'm saying I know Boston's out, but I'm saying why wasn't Yankees a division champ?
I guess maybe they match up well with Boston. I mean, sometimes it just happens during the season. I think Tanaka's pitched better in the playoffs than he did during the course of the regular season. Plus, the Yankees' fifth starter tended to be bad, so that was a lot of losses in there too. Whereas now you can just go with a 4-man rotation. So it's a different animal. Plus, I think some of the younger players just are stepping up that didn't necessarily have the best, Plus, Judge really struggled most of the second half until maybe the last 3 weeks of September. There's a lot of factors involved. Boston had a much stronger rotation the first 3 quarters of the season before Sale decided to take a dump and was bad.
So yeah, I'm taking Houston. I mean they're favored. But I'm taking Houston in that game. I've just won too many bets over the course of the season on Houston to not take Houston. Just like the Dodgers, I said, look, the Cubs are going to lose. They're not going to hold out to the Dodgers. I mean, that wasn't going to happen.
No, I was surprised that wasn't a sweep. Actually, that the Dodgers didn't just sweep the Cubs. The Cubs their heart was not into it at all. After a while, they just gave up.
No. Well, good. I mean, I'm glad you're picking the Yankees because I that surprises me because I thought Houston's going to roll into the World Series with this win, but. We'll see.
Well,
I'll tell you, my go-to teams the entire season were Dodgers, Houston, Yankees, some Boston, throw some Cubs in there, but not much else.
You didn't go to Washington?
Oh, yeah. There was some Washington. Yeah, there was some Washington thrown in there.
How come we're not going with Tennessee this week against Cleveland?
Well, Cleveland's 0-6, and the spread is, I think Tennessee will win, but I don't like the spread.
What's the spread now?
It was like 5. I mean, it still is. Yeah, it's 5.5. I don't think Mariota is that great,
Yeah, but I think Cleveland might be that bad.
Well, they're going to fire their coach probably, but
Sure.
That would have been my number 2 pick, but
I
just see it still is a professional football team, and they are 0-6. So,
but they've lost 24 of the last 25 games.
Yeah, but what's against the spread on that?
Oh, I don't know.
I agree, they have, but give me the ATS on that? That's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, I don't know what that is. I just know they've been blown out the last 3 weeks.
I mean, they're going to fire their coach, right?
I guess he's nuts. They have to fire him. They have to fire everybody. They have a lawyer and a baseball guy running the front office.
Oh, are you serious?
I am serious. They got a baseball guy from the Red Sox to run their front office. And it's ridiculous. The coach he's crazy, but he wanted to take Watson, and they wouldn't take him.
They wanted to take Watson?
Yeah. The coach wanted to take Watson, but the front office said no, and they took some other clown instead. Or they traded the pick. They traded the pick at 12. They had number 1 pick and number 12 pick. And at number 12, they could have taken Watson. Instead, they didn't, and they should have.
Well, it's just like the Buccaneers. They could have taken Adrian Peterson. They could have plucked him out, but they were stupid enough not to do that.
Well,
Cleveland is 1-5 against the spread right now, but like you say, they're 0-6.
the only one I think was that was a close game was the Jets.
Yeah, so there was one game that they didn't win against the spread.
Yeah, the Jets. I think the Jets beat them, but they didn't cover. But everything else, they've been blown out, I think, most of the time.
Right. But here's the other thing that you may not be aware of is that overall passing yards, Cleveland is actually ahead of Tennessee. And I think that's what scared me off of it.
Yeah, because they're behind all the time, so they're throwing. Their quarterback also leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, but they've got more plays than Tennessee. They've got more passing yards. And if I look at the defensive side of the ball, Dave, Cleveland's better than Tennessee on freaking defense.
I guess, but they've given up 66 points the last 2 weeks.
Total score per game, Cleveland is lower than Tennessee. Total passing yards per game. I'm talking about the defense now. Cleveland is less than Tennessee.
I understand, because teams run the ball against them.
Total rushing yards per game, Cleveland is less than Tennessee. So yards per play, Cleveland is less than Tennessee. So
again, that's deceiving because the offense is turning the ball over.
okay, but that clearly shows me. I mean, based on that, I would say that the Cleveland defense is better than the Tennessee defense.
Maybe it's still deceiving.
So,
If you only have
yeah.
20 yards to cover and then the team scores a touchdown compared to the other team that's giving up less yards per game, they're still giving up the points.
But you were asking me why I would shy away from that, because it's like it's a high cover, and I'm not seeing it. I mean, when you look at Cleveland's Cleveland's better on offense in terms of passing yards, and then their defensive stats are better than Tennessee's. And then I got to cover 5.5.
I know.
I'll take Jackson.
What I'm saying is I think the stats are deceiving you because Cleveland leads the league in turnovers, so teams are getting a short field all the time. And that's why the defense is giving up less yards because they're just not having to cover as much of the field because their team turning over all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think based on what you're saying and based on what I'm saying, that I would say, yeah, take two bets, take Jacksonville and Cleveland. But the official pick for today is going to be Jacksonville traveling to Lucas Oil.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
What's that?
And I think that's a good pick too. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I like that pick.
Was that one of your picks or was that one of Brian's?
I think we both picked it. It was a consensus pick.
Consensus pick out of 3. Were you guys picking out of 3 cover?
Yeah.
All right, so on 3, go Jacksonville. 1, 2, 3.
Go Jacksonville.
Go Jacksonville. All right, Danny, I'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you next week.